Hello guys, today we'll discuss about dyadic communication face to and face to face communication. In the last video, we have discussed about the audiovisual aids for communication. In this video, we'll understand the concept of dyadic communication, number of forms of dyadic communication, face to face conversation, nature of dyadic communication, dialogue characteristics of dialogue. Dyadic communication it is a process of oral communication that improves small groups 2 to 7 participants as sender or receiver. The term dyadic communication generally refers to an interaction between two persons. Even if two persons are present in situation, it is only two communicators that play a fundamental role. It is a person-to-person transaction and one of the most common forms of speech communications. It provides an ideal condition for close-range continuous feedback. The meaning exchange between the sender and receiver is marked by high fidelity. Dyadic communication ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಟೂ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಟೂ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನು ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಡಯಾಡಿಕ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೈ ಫಿಡಿಲಿಟಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹೈ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಫೇತ್ಫುಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಟು ದ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್. ಇವರು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಏನು ಒಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೈ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಫೇತ್ಫುಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ರೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಎ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆನ್ಸ್. This is so because the miniest reactions are mutually observable. The formal dyadic communication with which we are concerned demands artistry that can be acquired through practice. Number of forms ಫೇಸ್ ಟು ಫೇಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಟೆಲಿಫೋನಿಕ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡೋದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಿಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡೋದಂತಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. Face to face conversation. Conversation is the most common form of dyadic communication. Conversation is the most common form of communication. It links people together, be it socially or professionally. Conversation may be defined as a oral, usual, informal, or friendly exchange of views, ideas, etc. In a conversation, participation has to play the role of speaker or listener interchangeably. Very often, we form an impression about an individual from the way he talks and topics on which he converses. Most of us find it easy to converse with our friends, relatives, and colleagues whom we like to trust. Face to face ಕನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಜೊತೆ ಏನು ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವೇನು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫಿಗರ್ಸ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಎನ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್. Since every professional is required to participate in the form of dyadic communication, let us briefly look at some important points to be borne in mind. However, the rule that best practice for conversation is the conversation itself still holds good. It is useful first to analyze your own conversation habits, then try to change them for a greater effectiveness. Nature of dyadic communication. Intimacy, because the participants have a shared history, previous encounter, intensity create marutte. Immediacy, because the process takes place now and the feedback is immediately action and reaction can be seen. Proximity, because the process occur here face to face. Dialogue, it is another form of dyadic communication involving two active participants in face to face encounter, the sender and receiver of the message. It differs in communication. In the dialogue is purposive. It has a definite agenda or topics to discuss, usually problem solving. Characteristics of dialogue, it's planned but spontaneous. It's more intimate than a conversation because there is no problem to be solved. Requires more self-revelation in the aid of problem solving. Is more orderly than a conversation where anything goes in terms of topic and speaker. So characteristics of dialogue, it is basically planned ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. It is not spontaneous immediately ಅಲ್ಲ. It's more intimate than conversation because there is a problem to be solved. Requires more self-revelation in aid of problem solving. It's more orderly than conversation where everything goes in the terms of topics and speaker.